Now, Jason Goes to Hell is a 1993 movie that explores the supernatural origins of Jason Voorhees. Now, this movie finally breaks down why Jason is just so hard to kill. And here are 5 reasons why you should watch Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Coming up on CEDtalks Horror. Now, Jason Goes to Hell tells the story of how the FBI lures Jason Voorhees into a trap and destroys him. Yes, I said destroy him because they technically don't kill him because his heart is still very much alive. Now, during a federal investigative autopsy, Jason's still beating heart somehow hypnotizes the doctor performing the autopsy into eating it. Now, this causes the doctor to become the living embodiment of Jason. And throughout this movie, Jason goes on a rampage, but there's a method to his madness. Jason's heart jumps from person to person because he's looking for the permanent body to be reborn of. And these random bodies are weak, and thus Jason is searching for a blood relative to make his rebirth take place. Now enters his last few relatives. Jason apparently has a half-sister, a niece, and a great-niece. And this movie becomes a race against time to not only kill Jason, but to keep him away from the bodies of his blood relatives before he's reborn and gains his power back. But no one knows how to kill Jason, except for one eccentric bounty hunter named Creighton Duke. So, why should you watch this movie? Reason number 1, Jason versus the FBI. I gotta know, when did Jason get on the FBI's radar? What did he do? Does he owe back taxes? Did he commit bank fraud or something? You gotta admit, Jason being hunted by the feds is something that you never thought you'd get. And not to be a jerk or anything, but they win. The feds killed Jason in the very first scene in this movie. And I'm just wondering, how long were they telling Jason that allowed them to set up such an elaborate trap to take down Crystal Lake's most infamous killer? What on earth did Jason do to get them boys from Washington, D.C. to step in? It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Reason number 2, Jason versus Creighton Duke. Yes, no one knows how to kill Jason in this movie, except for one eccentric bounty hunter named Creighton Duke. And though he's rough around the edges, he knows exactly how to kill Jason and what weapon to use. Now, played by veteran actor Steven Williams, this movie needed more of Creighton Duke. The best Jason movies are when they allow Jason to have a worthy adversary. And in this movie, Creighton Duke does just that. I just wish they used him more. Reason number 3, will the real Jason Voorhees please stand up? Yeah, the very best Friday the 13th movies occur when there are gimmicks to Jason's body count. I like him when he goes against Tina, the telekinetic. I like him as a fish out of water in Manhattan. Dude, I even like him as Jason in Space or versus Freddy Krueger. And I can't forget about this movie, the body-to-body gimmick. This movie is a ton of fun because several people get to do what I always wanted to do and I thought was cool, to play Jason, if not just for a little while. And that gimmick of Jason needing to switch bodies, we saw several actors do what Kane Hodder perfected. So, what was your favorite non-Kane Hodder Jason in this movie? To me, it was Stephen Culp's character, Robert Campbell. Reason number 4, Jason versus Jason? Yes, believe it or not, Jason Voorhees kills Jason Voorhees in this movie. Well, how? Well, during a few scenes in this movie, veteran Jason actor Kane Hodder is playing the role of one of the FBI agents, and we see him crack several jokes on Jason. And in the next few scenes, he's being reported on the news as being murdered. So yeah, we get to see Jason Voorhees kill Jason Voorhees. And I honestly thought that was pretty meta. Reason number 5. The MCU is born. Well, sort of. Now, how could a movie in 1993 give birth to a franchise that didn't start until 2008? Well, allow me. At the very end of this movie, in what is equivalent to a post-credit scene, Jason's mask is pulled down to hell, hence the title, by Freddy Krueger. And in this scene, it would put in motion the most lucrative cross-promotional intellectual property of all time, Freddy versus Jason. And that movie, that concept, made it possible for studios to see that it's possible to take 2 IPs, do a crossover, and for it to make a ton of money. Now this formula would be copied and we would see the rise and success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, is peak Jason. The character is better when he's allowed to explore aspects outside of the usual formula of the murders at Camp Crystal Lake. Now, though many people hated the body-to-body gimmick, it's a one-off. I mean, you do the gimmick, have fun, allow the actors to have fun, and crank out more Jason movies. Now, we've all seen The Silent Stalker. It's pretty much a bland concept. But Jason has that sort of crossover appeal that you can put him in space or in the snow and you can have a fun time with him. And to be honest, that's the perfect way to make a Jason movie. Now, if I had my way, I'd marry that body-to-body gimmick with a Jason-themed convention. Just think, who's the real Jason? And until next time, when CEDtalks horror. Okay, if I could do like a Jason movie today, it'll probably take place at like this remodeled Camp Crystal Lake where there's like this Jason Voorhees horror convention. And everybody is dressed like Jason and all the Friday the 13th related characters. And then we have like this wax display of Jason's body, and around his neck is like a urn necklace, and it got his ashes, the real Jason's body's ashes. And then one day one of the convention goers might mess up and disturb the ashes and it spills on him. And then it set off like a chain reaction of like temporary viral infections, you know. It make everybody that's infected the living embodiment of Jason. And then like as bodies start to stack up, everybody's trying to find out who's the killer. But no one know who's the killer because everybody's pretty much dressed as Jason. Like, would that make a good movie? I don't know. It's just me just going off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments.